I mean, these are hard to get on. Let's face it. You gotta be a man to wear tights. Will, how many seams?
Perfect.
Every time.
Welcome back to the final credits, where today we are talking about Robin Hood Men in Tights. And listen, I'm going to be honest. This is not my favorite Mel Brooks movie. It's not. It's not.
You're breaking my
At
heart.
all. As a child, I watched this movie, and I'm pretty sure, as far as I can remember, I was laughing hysterically. As an adult, I'm watching it, and I'm like, why was I laughing? Why? But you know what? You guys take off. Let me know where I was wrong on this, because I don't know. I mean, it had some cute little things that were happening. Like, okay, the funniest thing that I think was in this movie was the fact that Prince John, his mole, just kept moving throughout the whole movie. That was hysterical because it was so subtle, and only one person, Rottingham, ever noticed that he had a mole. And then he goes, "I have a mole?" Like, okay, that was funny. Other than that, everything else to me felt very it felt like Mel Brooks ran out of ideas and just kept doing the same things over and over again. But you guys,
I will respectfully disagree with you with that. While this isn't my favorite Mel Brooks movie, this is a solid number 2 for me. And
oh wow,
this is most definitely okay. So a couple months ago, I did a review on Grimm versus 100. Please check that out. Of a movie called Airplane. And when I looked at the entire list, I recognized that this was the only movie on here that could be considered a parody. And I said then, as I said right now, that yes, it is a good movie, but there are definitely better representations of the parody type, the parody genre, I should say, for a movie. This is that movie. This is a perfect representation of the parody genre. It has an established story. It makes fun of it hilariously. It's not super outdated, because you do have some parody movies that have jokes that are literally good for the past year. This, it kind of goes back to the 90s a little bit, but that's like as far back as it goes. Yes, the younger generation may or may not have a harder time looking at it, but Dave Chappelle pumping up his shoes, a lot of people are going to wonder what the hell is that, but a lot of us do realize, oh yeah, he did that. That's actually pretty great.
You know, funny that you bring up Dave Chappelle, because if I'm not mistaken, this was his first. It was his debut as an actor in a big motion picture.
And I thought he did pretty well in this.
No, he did great.
I actually thought the entire cast was very well done with this.
Yeah.
Seeing a young Dave Chappelle caught me by surprise. Way before the hit show on Comedy Central, and then becoming a successful stand-up comedian. But if I can bring it back to Mel Brooks for a moment, with his legacy, he might have you can make an argument, he might have the greatest comic mind of all time. That's including comedy actors, stand-up. He's just brilliant. Now, the gold standard for his movies, it's either a toss-up between Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. I feel like that's the gold standard, and not far behind that, Spaceballs. And this movie's probably dated, but it came back as a successful Broadway show, The Producers.
The Producers.
Yeah. So this movie in particular, I wouldn't put it up there, but it does have its cringe at times, but it has its funny moments. Like, it was little random moments that I was laughing at. Like when the princess is in the castle and she's singing, you see the cameraman break the window of the camera out of nowhere. Little things like Dave Chappelle's character's name at you, bless you. When he gives a speech, he puts on the Malcolm X glasses. When you think Robin lost the archery competition, and all of a sudden the characters are breaking up a speech, the script.
That right there, he's done in every single movie.
Yeah, I know.
They're always looking at the script in every one of his movies. He did it in Spaceballs. He did it in. I think he just did it in Spaceballs, but that's not the point.
I was about to say, I think it was just Spaceballs when they were looking, because I'm like, he didn't do that in Dracula Dead and Loving It.
No, well, yeah, okay, but that was different. Look, I agree with you guys on these things, except that I feel his previous movies were funnier.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Again, I will give you that, but I will stick with my guns in this and say that this is the perfect representation of the parody genre. Were there like better movies? Were there funnier movies? Yes, there were. But in terms of sticking to the genre of this is a gold standard. This is the representation.
Okay. All right.
But
I'll tell you this much though. So back in '93, this thing had a budget of $20 million. Guess what it did at the box office?
That's a lot movie back in '93.
Yeah.
Tell us numbers,
kind of scared right now.
Tell us numbers, guy.
So, ready for this? It made $70 million at the box office.
Hey!
That is surprising. But at the same time, I mean, he made a lot more money with, VHS sales and everything like that. But realistically, though, $70 million. Oh, sorry, $72 million. So
even better.
That's a good number, man. That's
listen, that's
4 times the number. So yeah.
Possibly the funniest character was the most clumsy blind guy in history.
Blinken.
Blinken. When one of the sword fights broke out, he thought he was giving it, but when he was just cutting up a tree.
Good Lord.
But then he'll have these. Then they give him his fantastic. Then they give him his moment when the hit on Robin Hood's happening, and he catches the arrow out of nowhere, and then goes back to how he was.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. His shining moment, of course, was when he trips and falls, hits his head, cleans himself off, and realizes,
I can see.
Runs
that's it.
Into a tree, blinds himself again, and says, "Nope, no, I'm not."
But for me, my favorite is the casting of the Arrow movie, and I don't know if you guys felt this was forced. I still found it funny. Like they put in a Godfather mob parody that
went on too long, man. It went on for 5
one of the moments that I was talking about earlier, where yes, you bring in like one of those moments, but it is dated because not only do we have a Godfather reference, we have a Dirty Harry reference in that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
look, I'm not saying that the movie was horrible. I just feel like this movie, in my opinion, you can skip it. Watch his other stuff.
But Spade, to answer the age-old question on This Is 30, does the movie stand the test of time?
For you guys, maybe. For me, not so much.
All right, that's fair. Pancakes, what say you?
Literally being in between you guys right now, I lean towards more yes. It's definitely worth the watch, but certain things don't hold up, but not to your level. But I say see it at least once. You get a few laughs, even though some things are 30 years old. One thing I want to add about the cast, I wish he had a bigger role, but Patrick Stewart, perfect as King Richard.
Listen,
Sir Patrick Stewart,
the definition of having a cameo.
Yes,
you're gonna have a cameo.
Like, you never expect that
big name star come in for a day and that's it. That's exactly how you do it. I myself personally, like I've said earlier, I'm going to say absolutely go watch this movie. This is one of my favorite Mel Brooks projects. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. Blazing Saddles
yeah,
was better.
Hang on. I'm getting something.
A transmission?
Yes, it is. It is in fact Johnny 64 has some words. Johnny.
Hey guys, once again, couldn't make it during the week that I'm off, so I just want to give some quick thoughts before I head it out. Yeah, Robin Hood, Men in Tidy Whities, Men in Tights, whatever you want to call it. Mel Brooks film. Obviously, he gave us comedy classics like Spaceballs, but this really did not hit the mark for me. I don't know. It's we previously reviewed the movie Quasi that's been on Hulu. It's a similar type of style, type of vibe, medieval comedy that's like, kind of set up almost like a play, minimal effects, minimal, costume design, things like that. It's all about, like, I've mentioned this before during a Quasi review, that there's a certain style of humor that I feel like only a certain type of comedy fan would enjoy, like the comedy aficionados, the ones that kind of break, the timing and the punchlines down to a science, and they'll laugh at certain things that maybe general audiences wouldn't laugh at if they're used to, like, the more mainstream type of comedy movies. There were definitely, some clever scenes, like the scene where the one of the characters was like holding a tall staff and they're walking towards the camera and the staff hits the camera, and it's just like little stupid scenes like that I thought were funny. But this movie just didn't grab me. I felt like the story was really flat. It was kind of like, everybody was one dimensional. They were just there to just deliver lines, and they weren't really characters themselves. And I found myself, like, either, I'll be honest with you, my eyes, I kind of dozed off like once or twice during this movie. It was either that or I just wasn't engaged in what the story was, with at least what they were trying to tell with the story. So, does it stand the test of time? Probably not to me. I don't know if it did back then either. One interesting thing, I didn't realize Dave Chappelle was in this movie. And this was way back in '93. He was really young, so I was surprised to see him, be on screen and doing his thing with his career that long ago. So that was pretty interesting. But other than that, this movie did not interest me. So sorry, guys, if you think differently. But back to you. That's what I think.
And thank you, Johnny64. Wherever you are in this world that you're calling it in and doing what you got to do. Anyway, guys, these are our thoughts. This is what we think of Robin Hood Men in Tights. Let us know. Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Do you think that Mel Brooks should make another parody movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he should. Let's start a petition. Let's make it happen. Hashtag bring back Mel Brooks from the 90s. I don't know. It could work. Anyway, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you guys think. So, other than that, listen, guys, we're out. Roll credits.
Roll credits.